By the way, I downloaded no, that's what I was gonna say, but we're moving on. I came across Aspie Supremacy the other day. Aspie Supremacist. I am an Aspie Supremacist. I'm not like an all autism supremacist, because obviously there are ones that can't bathe, or feed themselves, or speak, but I am a high-functioning autism supremacist. It's kind of unjustified because I don't know, actually, a lot of high-functioning autistic people. I do know that the ones I've met, I have finally felt like I was talking to someone of my race. Not always, and obviously autistics can also believe a lot of crazy things. I think some of them are maybe forced to, because they're already so different that then they have to go believe fringe things because those are the only people that accept them. I don't know. I was lucky or unlucky enough to be, maybe you can't tell with my black lips and energy right now, but lucky enough to be handsome and stuff. And so I would, because if I had been unattractive and not funny, which I am, in case you didn't know after watching my videos, which right there is a hilarious joke. So proof is in the pudding. Anyway, look, people think that I'm funny, and if I weren't, and people think that I'm handsome, and if I weren't those two things, who knows what my life would have been like. Can you imagine a high-functioning autistic with ADHD, OCD, and bipolar? Well, not so much the mania, just the depression. And super smart and, like, interested in being, like, smart. I would have had a completely different life. And sometimes I regret that I don't have that life. That I'm not spending my days on Reddit, finding my community. Instead, I mean, alright, look, I'm a little bit drunk, so, and nobody asked you to watch this. I have fewer than 200 subscribers. I have very little responsibility for what I say, okay? So allow me to say it. I've been spending the last few days with a woman that I think is very attractive. We've even been, every time we say hello or say goodbye, a kiss, which I don't really like. So last night there was no kiss. Anyway, if I couldn't be getting the validation of spending time with her, of getting kisses from her, if I couldn't, if I mean, hell, it could be worse. Imagine if I weren't autistic. I don't really know that I'm autistic, but imagine that I weren't something like being on the spectrum. Imagine I did have ADHD. It would change a lot, but we're going to sort of cheat, and we're going to imagine that everything about me is the same, except I'm able to do college, do grad school, and I know how to interact with Homo sapiens, non-Aspie Homo sapiens, regularly, because I do know how to do it when we first meet, and when I'm doing sales or stuff, I do a pretty good job. One time, something really confusing happened. There's this, and I'm gonna tell you his race because I seem to provoke something sometimes in Arab men. they seem to be often ready to, not all, but, okay, I should just stop. So I'm in the store, there's a guy looking at shoes, and I was at the computer doing something. Had a lot of energy, loving my job, talking to people and seeing whether some shoes were good for them. And I say to this guy, what are you imagining? I said to him. Right, write that down, please. All right. Pause if you need time, because I'm going to tell you now what I said. I said, hello, sir. Did I already say hello to you? I think it got weird then. He looks at me funny. I don't remember what he said. He said kind of nothing. He said something, but it was like something like, it was something that was nothing. It was like, what do you mean? Or you know, what's going on? Or something, you know, I don't know. And so I left the computer and I went over to him because I didn't want to be that salesperson that stays behind the computer, and I wanted to show that I'm invested in him. So I go over and I say, well, no, I was just asking because, you know, we should say hello to everybody who comes in the store. And when at some point I saw you, I thought, oh no, I'm not sure whether I said hello to this guy. Which is actually kind of a very spectrum thing to say, isn't it? And I don't know what happened next. I don't know what happened next, but a coworker needed to intervene. I was confused as fuck. He didn't like the way that I was talking to him, or I guess like I came over and maybe my chest was out. Because this was, you know, my place. You know, I was the most senior salesperson. This was my place. I was welcoming him to my place. So maybe there was pride or something, or some kind of a host energy. And so my chest was out maybe. And maybe that host energy, or maybe that pride of place energy, which is supposed to be reduced to do host energy, wasn't reduced. And so, because our host is supposed to be like, oh, sure, this is my house, but, and maybe I didn't do a good job of that. I mean, I wasn't thinking about these things. I was just trying to be a host. But maybe I should have, anyway. It's one of the most confusing moments of my life. And another salesperson who didn't even work in that store, but was just helping us out, had to intervene and had to like explain to the guy, French isn't his first language, so sometimes he doesn't use the right words. I have no idea what happened. I'm trying to think of what that could have meant. I don't think it meant, I didn't think at the time that, and I don't think now that it meant anything. I think that he was just, I don't even know that Theo had been there for the beginning of the interaction. But this customer just starts to get really annoyed by my energy and the way that I approached him. And I think the French guy was just like, well, I don't know what's going on, but maybe he said something wrong, so. Did I start this video by talking about Aspie supremacism? If so, then that's where we're going to pick up. Yes, bro, like, fuck humans, bro. I am absolutely an Aspie supremacist. I will also, if I had it my way, I would also allow humans who know how to interact with Aspies, who know how to hear words and take words seriously, and not ignore words, or not consider only body language and timing and squinting and intonation at the expense of the words. I would allow them to live as well. Look, I'm not perfect. Aspies were not perfect. but I have the impression that we have an eagerness to follow the rules, to understand the rules. And humans don't have that same sort of eagerness, except for enforcing the rules. So they just happen to follow the rules. They do it naturally. They probably wouldn't even if they could. There are lots of humans who are like, oh, I hate that I'm so, like, you know, this way, that way with people. I'm always so polite, so quiet, blah, blah. I wish I felt more comfortable expressing myself, blah, blah, blah. But they can't help themselves. They just stay like that. The ones I have in mind right now. But they'll enforce them. Because if you're not... And I promise you, I've tried. That sometimes comfort talking comes out. Okay, the defining characteristic of autism is not that you are comfortable talking. But I want to, if you're on the spectrum, please tell me. If you're high functioning, please tell me, do you also, sometimes people like say that you're super confident, sure of yourself, and you're not, and they say that you're like, you say whatever's on your mind and you're comfortable in any situation, and you're not, but people consistently think that you are because you do talk in those situations. And maybe you have to be both ASPE and ADHD, which is a pretty common combination. I don't know. I do wish that I had found my community. I said in another video. Also, I'm tired.